There's an endless song echoes in my... Hey, Waterview. Today I want to talk about another of our resources in our Equipped to Engage ministry. But today's resource isn't a book. It's not a website or a brochure. Today's resource is you. Today I want to encourage you to think about somebody in your circle of influence, whether it's a neighbor, a coworker, a friend, maybe even a relative. And I want you to think about how you have been gifted by God by being placed in that specific relationship with that specific individual to influence them in a way that nobody else can. And so, what I want to encourage all of us today is to simply reach out and start the conversation. Start the conversation with that person about Christ, about the Bible, about the church. So many times we can have those conversations in our head. We look at that person and we wonder, what would it be like to talk to them about Jesus? And maybe we even begin to play it out. We think about the questions they would ask. We think about the places in the Bible that we would go. We think about the specific issues that might come up and how we would respond to them. But what happens is we don't ever actually start the conversation and see where it goes. Maybe it's not even having a conversation. Maybe it's simply inviting them to church. Maybe it's inviting them to Bible class or to worship. Maybe it's inviting them to our small group. Maybe it's inviting them to the next just outing or event that you're going to with some other people from church. But what I want to encourage all of us today, before we ever look at the resources that we need later on in the discussion, first we have to start that conversation. And so what I want to encourage all of us to do is to prayerfully consider just one person in our circle of influence that needs to know Christ, or maybe needs to know more about Christ, or maybe needs to have some of their ideas clarified about who Jesus is and what the Bible says and what the church is about. Our Equipped to Engage ministry is focused on one simple mission: inviting everyone to know Christ, His love, and His church. So who's that one person that you need to start that conversation with? From there, we want to provide all the resources you could possibly need to answer their questions. But first, we have to start the conversation. There is definitely somebody in your circle of influence waiting for you to invite them to know more about Jesus, waiting for you to just invite them to church. Did you know that the vast majority of people that have come to put on Christ came not because of a sermon? They didn't come because of a benevolence outreach issue. They didn't come because of something they read in a book. They came to church and they came to know Christ because someone they trusted and someone that they cared about invited them to come into a relationship with Jesus. That's the way it's done in the first century all the way through today, and it's still the best way. So who's that person? Pray about it, start the conversation, and then our Equipped to Engage ministry is there to walk with you all the way to help you bring them to a point that they come to know Jesus and His church. Start the conversation today, and let us help you from there. There's an endless song echoes in my soul. I hear the music